just a short update of a bit of progress on SF-RATON-NZ. I finished this scene off a little while ago and did some texturing under the bridge. Still got a lot more to do to finish it, and also altered the bridge and painted it to give the scene of it going back into the backdrop. So those vehicles that are sitting on there just give me an idea. I might change out a few of them and put it on. And then I reset in the buildings and a track down there, made it so a bit of operation in that area. The interlocking tower, or the switch tower, or control tower, whatever you call it, used to be in the middle of the Albuquerque yard area, but I decided this time to put it off to the side. It still can see into the main throat and can still see the whole of the yard. And because of footage that I've seen and photos I've seen of Albuquerque, there's houses that come right up to the edge of where the yard is. So I took a street shot of the houses and cropped it and made it quite small to fit in there, and then put a fence in front of it like it is in Albuquerque where it is, and then back to the background. I'm going to have to paint out the blue sky because it doesn't work very well, but I'll get around to doing that. But it seems to give the illusion, if I pull back, that we're on the outskirts of, or in the middle of, where all this industry. So I've still got quite a bit more to do. The next area that I did was in the lower level on the reverse loop that comes out from LA, and this is part of the swing gate. So what I've done is I've landscaped it a little bit. It's still got a lot more to do. It's got to have grass put in it, and trees and bushes and some houses and that. But the scenery will be painted on the backdrop, and to give the illusion of depth. But this is slowly coming on pretty well. So from that I then went and started working on the farm scene, or where the cattle yards are. And other than a little bit of scenery still to do, she's pretty well nearly finished. The house I put in here, I've put an interior in it, and if you look in, you can see a little bit of the interior of the place, fireplace here, even though it's not quite in line with the chimney is. And I scratch built a British card barn, and made it to fit in there to give me room to put hay and to store the vehicle, and just make that scene a little bit separate. And I also finished off the corner of the lift out, put the fences in, and all this area has gates that open, so they just pivot there, so I can have a scene set up where you've got it. And also in each of the gates I've put cattle bars. Now in New Zealand we have them on quite a few farms, but I noticed on some of the photos or videos I saw of America, they do have that too. So I've made my ones up there. They're just using finishing brad nails, cut and then just glued in place. So that came out quite well. I was quite pleased with that. I've also put some cattle in here, and yet to finish off the watercolour in the pond, or the drinking area. But it actually looks pretty cool having all those cattle. There's a lot more to go in and make it quite dense, but again, another gate, and this gate opens too. So you could have it open and it's got the cattle stops here to stop it. The other thing that I wanted to do was to make an operation feature was to put a gate across the track, because you couldn't put a cattle gate where the train came out. So I built this gate, and it opens and you can go and pick your loco up, and it closes back up. So I've still got a few more trees to put in on the back part of it, but that whole section along the back here, this bit here, can all lift out, so if I need to get down into the bottom level of LA, I can. The other part was that because I got the trucks here, well, where do they come from? So I had another gate or access hole which is held in with magnets, so I made it a cliff face and put a tunnel on it, and then cut one of my old fun hoe toys and glued it on the front to give the illusion of a vehicle coming out of there. So it's solely only for vehicle access. There's still a lot more work to be done on it and get it tidied up. The next level I've been working on is Raton. I've still got to tidy up a few things. The coal in town needs to have the roof put on it, and coal on by the track and ballast, and the water tank, which is off to one side, it fell over and the lid came off, so I've got to re-glue that back on, but that's to be sitting in place, and then landscaping in there. But I've been focusing on the area in where the turntable is, and I built the retaining wall at the back. The retaining wall is very similar process and design as I did to the one coming into Lammy. Still got a little bit more detail to put in there. There's some grass down, but I've got shrubs and bits and pieces, and the turntable pit has to have a wall in it, and then everything tidied up. The loco shed is an old Revell kit that I've kit bashed and altered and made it to fit. I'm quite pleased how it turned out. And then the back section that was here, I turned it up and made it up into a slight hill to come up, put a tree on it, and then I put a very non-prototypical Santa Fe water tower. But way back in the 80s, my father-in-law and mother-in-law, when they did a trip to Australia, they brought that for me, and I've had it all along. And so I thought I'd put it up there, and I've got to weather it and get it used. And I wired it up, but the beacon on the top does go. It doesn't light out much, but it gives a little bit of an illusion of what's happening. The other thing I did is Raton had an underpass, and where these houses are, it used to come across and come out under the tracks. So I put the houses back there, and I built the underpass over here. Now, due to restraints of area, I made it's a little bit small, but it gives me the illusion of how they got from Raton Township across to the other side past all the railway tracks. So it's in there, and I put a bit of graffiti on it, not graffiti, sorry, advertising, and I put a sign in there of its maximum height. Put LED lighting in to give a bit of a light, so just make it something different. And then that brought me up into this area up here where I'm working on, where I've been working in this area. This area here had to be finished, well, completely finished, because when the next level goes in, it's going to be very hard to get in there to do work. I put in the control tower or interlocking tower or switch tower, whatever you want to call it. And from that area you can look right down to Raton area, and you can also look right up into Raton Mountain, which is up in that direction, up through there. Eventually we'll go all the way around, and Raton Mountain will be back in the corner where it was originally. It'll come right across to this corner, and then from there it'll come all the way across and end up coming in at about this level here, and that'll be my last level, which will go all the way around the layout and over the top. So I've got quite a bit of scenery and quite a bit of work to be done before I can get that finished. So I turned this into a bit of a feature, painted the road in the back, put some trees in and a bit of illusion, and then I landscaped this cliff face, and the rock castings are all made out from aluminium foil, crumpled up, and then just putting plaster in and giving the effect. So there's a bit of a ledge on it. It's got to have some animals put into it, because where the fence is into the backdrop there's about an inch gap, so we'll get that sorted up, fence painted up. So I'm quite pleased how that came out. So that is the other area that I've been working on in the update. So hope this update finds you all well, and hope you all have a fantastic year this year in 2022. And keep safe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.